At the beginning of the story, this is a large, extremely busy citadel named Vinthan. The center has a huge statue. Levin to you, a lord of Vinthan. Don't compete. Everyone has a share. Give it to me. I've been hungry for 3 days. This female martial god is still considered a kind-hearted person, yet she gave us porridge. Standing under the tent was Luke Venkiu, daughter of the deputy city lord. A dirty beggar, an empty bowl in his hand, came to line up to beg for food. He exclaimed, "Wow, is this a statue of a female martial god?" The ruler of this citadel is actually such an excellent person. Quickly gulping down a bowl of porridge, he sat down to rest on the side of the road, seemingly having eaten a full meal. Suddenly, there was a scream from somewhere. He turned around and saw countless people holding their necks and vomiting blood. I said, how can a female martial god have such kindness? Our 5-try citadel was completely destroyed by your female martial god last year, so why don't you spare us? He was stunned. Before he could do anything, his mind became blurred and he fell unconscious. He thought, I am a silkworm farmer in Tongtran. On the way to deliver silk to the city lord's palace, I encountered a robber. I had no choice but to come here to eat this meal, ... I won't dare to do it again in the future. Forgive me, let me go. I still want to live. At Vinthan prison. It's so hot. Isn't this ... that beautiful and talented female martial god? God also seems to have not treated me badly, giving me such a beautiful spring dream before I die ... He woke up gradually, his head still dizzy, startled to see the woman next to him. The beautiful girl with a gorgeous body is still sleeping peacefully. He scratched his head trying to remember everything that happened. What's going on? Why am I in jail? Being locked up together with a female martial god with only one piece of cloth covering her body like this feeling ... I single quotes am not dead yet. Was it not a dream just now? I'm really with this girl. We're done. Something wiggled in his hand. He opened his eyes to look. It's a white worm. Hey guy, you're finally awake. That's so good. Ha ha ha. At that moment, the female martial god also woke up. Are you awake? The thing is, we were poisoned in the porridge, so. The female martial god replied, is there any difference? Those people's goal was finally achieved. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, there was a smile from behind the bars. You're in a good mood. It seems this little beggar served you very well last night. I don't know how many hearts will be scattered when the people next to me hear the news that my sister's good manners are sleeping with a little beggar ... Don't worry, sister. I will definitely spread this story. Everyone's ears. Became the most endless aftertaste topic that people discussed after tea. Ha 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 ... After saying that, she immediately left. The beggar quickly covered one eye and asked the other, are you being planned by someone else? The female martial artist reacted and blushed shyly, gave him a loving fist and ordered, no looking. He feels sorry for himself. Ha ha ha. Haven't you also looked at mine? It's not a loss at all. If you want to die, I will give it to you. He immediately brought the small worm towards the iron bars. Okay, I'm not looking. I just want to get out of here. The little worm was very good at its job and immediately chewed through the iron bars like a leaf. His nose immediately grew longer, showing off that ha ha ha. My little insect is truly omnipotent. Yes, insect larvae. He felt so angry that he curled up in the corner and cried. What was with her eyes? Ha-hoo-hoo. Okay, you help me up first. He turned around, his voice still filled with resentment. You are such a powerful female martial god and still need me to help you. She replied, I have been poisoned. Now my whole body has no strength. If you don't have strength, you don't have strength. Leave it alone. I've been beaten blind by people. It won't help. It won't help. The seething female martial artist punched him in the face. Wouldn't that help? He shouted majestically, hey da, don't hit me anymore. I'll help you, okay? He angrily let the female martial artist step on his shoulder as a ladder to climb out. It's not like you don't have the strength. Why are you hitting so hard? Feeling sorry for himself, he accidentally raised his head and saw something he shouldn't have seen. He immediately sniffled and felt it was worth being beaten like that. After a while, the female martial artist finally climbed out, angrily kicked him in the face, making him cry out, "Oh my!" After waiting for a long time, no one came back. He sat and rubbed the sore spot, thinking, "Ha-hoo-hoo, the more beautiful that woman is, the more unbelievable she is." Suddenly, a sack fell on his head. Hey Dao! It turned out that the female martial god had returned, found a sack for him to cover himself with, and told him to put it on and then I would pull you up. While trying to pull him up, the female warrior said, "You beggar, you look thin, but why are you so heavy?" After struggling for a while to pull him out, the female martial artist sat down on the ground panting. It seems that the poison in her body has not been completely eliminated and is now no different from a weak woman. "Follow me, don't make any sound." The two of them crept gently as if they were thieves, avoiding the soldier's detection. Otherwise, they would both walk hand in hand into a place where it would be very difficult to escape. When he found the way, he doubtfully rubbed his chin and asked her, "Are you sure you can escape the city from here?" "Of course, you can also find another way out yourself." He had to crawl behind the female martial god, his eyes focused and unable to stop complaining. "How much longer do I have to crawl? I'm about to not be able to stand it anymore." "Can't stand this anymore. Your physical strength is also too poor." I'm just lacking blood." At the same time, there was a fire in the city. Everyone was running away, shouting loudly, "It's on fire, run away." Above is the silhouette of a dragon with glowing red eyes, constantly spitting fire to burn everything. Fire spewed out and burned everything it touched. Everywhere there were screams. Clearly it is a red dragon, a fire dragon. Viewers, are you satisfied with this scene? La Hu, Mulong Master. I told you what I wanted was her, but where is she? Looks like I'm too merciful. This citadel really doesn't need to exist anymore. The woman with brown hair and blue eyes next to her smiled contemptuously and said, "Sir, she slept all night with a beggar. She's already the most vile and dirtiest woman. Why do you have to remember it forever? Don't forget her." Speaking of this, she pressed her breasts close to La Hu's body and solicited, "This young lady is pure and courteous, and also has a bit of strategy in controlling troops. If you don't hate me, this young lady can get married with you today." Before she could finish her sentence, her neck was grabbed tightly by a hand. "What do you say? How dare you touch her? If she is a pearl, then you are no different from dirty sand and mud." La Hu was angry. His fiery eyes roared with anger. "Order the dragon to breathe fire and burn everything. The lower class living in this corrupt land like you no longer need to live in this world." The surrounding area was engulfed in flames and burned. The woman's clothes were no exception. Ha 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 ha, the woman still laughed even though she knew her life was only measured in seconds. La Hu was surprised by this woman's madness. He did not understand. She was about to die, but she could still laugh. The woman continued to laugh. "Ha ha ha, I understand. Before becoming a dragon priest, you were just sand and mud in that woman's eyes. You tried your best to gain her respect, but she treated you coldly like a servant." Final cough, cough. "For a Mulong master like you, the past is not as good as the present. I hope she can look at you with different eyes than before." But she was ruined by me, your goddess, passionately embracing each other day and night with a naked beggar, enjoying each other's pleasure. Ha, ha, ha. Angry, he clenched his teeth. Use your hand to squeeze the woman's head and it immediately separated from her neck, dissolving with the fire and smoke. "Shut up, you die for me. Even so, live into you. She can only belong to me, La Hu." He grumbled every word and then left, leaving his family members to die in the sea of fire he created. On the other side, a hand appeared from below the hole. In the end, Van Tiu and the other man were able to escape. The two looked back, Mulong Master. This Vin Fan was completely destroyed, but luckily we were able to escape. The man turned around and asked Van Tiu, "What are your plans next?" The person who was hostile to her discovered that she had escaped, and perhaps they would hunt her everywhere. "Your strength hasn't recovered yet, so why don't you come to my place and hide temporarily?" She hesitated. "You lead the way." After a while, it was nighttime in Tiu Trang Tran, and the house lay alone. Hurrying on the road for 3 days and 3 nights, I can finally sleep. Inside the house, Van Tiu was sleeping on the bed. The man folded 2 chairs into a bed to sleep on. He opened his eyes and secretly looked at Van Tiu, thinking, "Sai, power was usurped, virginity destroyed." Vin Fan did not know why he was completely destroyed by others, but had to silently endure the anger and humiliation in his heart. In her eyes, I was nothing more than a beggar who took away her virginity. Early the next morning, he was awakened by a delicious scent hitting his nose. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, seeing a pair of large round grapefruits cooking. As if thinking of something, he widened his eyes. "These big, fat, meaty silkworms that I raise. Such lovely silkworms. How can you eat silkworms?" It turned out to be Van Tiu. She was cooking silkworms. "I'm hungry. Your house doesn't have any food either." Having said that, she picked up a sweet and fragrant processed silkworm and put it in her mouth. He shouted impatiently, "Ayaya, my ancestors, don't eat any more. Can't I buy you meat buns?" Seeing change, the man has left the house and is on the street. In his mind, he secretly cried, I didn't expect to have a face like a fairy, an extraordinary temperament, and be so cruel when frying silkworms." While walking, he was attracted by an old man's stall surrounded by a group of children. It must be said that in this world, the most noble is the dragon. This country has a magical power, which is that any living being has a certain chance of turning into a dragon. Legend has it that all living things have their own dragon gate. After passing through it, they can transform into a dragon. There is a type of person who can find out the rules of turning into a dragon and help those creatures who have the opportunity to turn into dragons to jump through that dragon gate. Those people are called Mulong Su. The green-nosed boy excitedly said, "Wow, I will definitely become a dragon master in the future." The old man patted the boy's head and smiled kindly, instructing him, however, after becoming a dragon priest, he must be devoted to good and not kill innocent people. The boy said again, "Grandpa, it must be very difficult to find a baby spirit that can devour dragons. In recent months, there have been rumors that baby dragons like to eat big, fat silkworms. If a baby spirit that eats silkworms appears, they must be caught. The chance of turning into a dragon will be very high." The children excitedly shouted, "Wow, Tilda, our family raises a lot of big, fat, meaty silkworms. Therefore, recently the price of silkworm meat is very high. Our small town is raising silkworms and can make a fortune." The man turned away, tears flowing into his eyes. "Mother, my silkworm, ha-hoo-hoo." A while later, the man returned home. "I'm back. Quickly taste the meat pie I bought." While struggling to see anyone, he saw a piece of paper with something written on it placed under the teapot. It's the farewell letter that Van Tiu left for him. "Do you go like this, so I will become your lifelong humiliation." Actually, forget it. Looking a little sad, he said to the little worm as well as comforting himself, "Bok Koi, you say we will never have to go back to those days of scolding and storming. However, normal is quite good. There is no need to worry. People do not need to scold us." While speaking, he suddenly saw a figure quietly approaching. "It's Van Tiu. She's back. Aren't you supposed to be gone? Why did you suddenly come back?" Still leaving quietly without a sound, scaring people to death. Van Tiu came closer and whispered to him. Her eyes cautiously glanced back. "There's something going on. You pretend to be a member of my family." He doesn't understand people from her family. the ritual family of Long Than Gang's ancestors. At this time, the door was suddenly pushed by a strong force and La Hu walked in. Van Tiu and the other man looked at the person who had just appeared. She said the person she wanted to go with was him. He went one step ahead and reported my current situation to the family. I told him to erase all traces I left here, then immediately return to Long Than Gang. The man suddenly smirked. Watch me invent others first. Take control of the initiative. He quickly knelt down on one knee, looked mature and said, "Female soldier, the clan ordered your subordinates to take you home, but no strangers were allowed to accompany you. Your status is noble, and you are so dignified and beautiful." Subordinates advise people not to trust people with unclear backgrounds. La Hu gritted his teeth and responded, "What is my origin? I am originally from the clan, a member of the clan." Van Tiu cooperated with the other man to act, pretending to explain, "La Hu was previously a servant in my father's inner courtyard. Now he is a dragon priest, not a person of unknown origin." The man seemed to understand. "Oh, we can also be considered disciples of the same clan, so let's set out together. And during the journey, we can also take care of each other." After that, the three of them traveled together using La Hu's dragon. La Hu stood on top controlling the dragon. Van Tiu and the man sat behind. The man sat and stroked his chin, sweating as he thought, "This is the dragon that destroyed Vinthan." It seems that the person this guy La Hu wants to kill is likely him. He doesn't know who the beggar who has a relationship with La Van Tiu is. Definitely destroy the entire citadel. He turned around and asked Van Tiu, "This La Hu was your father's servant before, so isn't he now?" His eyes were cold. Van Tiu recounted, "This La Hu once peeped on me practicing my sword." "Who?" "After being discovered by me, he was expelled from the family by my father." The man immediately pursed his lips, sweating and trembling, panicking. "Just watching sword practice got him kicked out of the family. It's true that I took away her virginity and he's still safe." Is a big network, Van Tiu continued. "He has resentment in his heart. Now he has become a dragon priest. That's why he didn't kidnap her, because he wanted to use this opportunity to return to the family." "Yes," Van Tiu replied, "this guy is a forced escort. It's hard to say whether he was too crazy on the way or not." La Hu frowned, glanced at the two people behind him whispering loudly and thinking, "This boy whispering around the female soldier really makes people crazy." Suddenly, there was a strong movement that made Van Tiu and two people sweat in fear. The dragon suddenly flew straight into the ground, causing the man to hug Van Tiu tightly and scream, "Ah yeah." Then it landed in a position that couldn't have been more beautiful. The two Van Tiu people seemed to have escaped disaster when the man shouted, "You, do you want to assassinate the female soldier?" La Hu turned around, his jealous eyes glowing red. "I'm really sorry. This fire dragon of mine has a bit of a hot temper and was a bit rude when he landed. But as a member of the Le family, how dare you arbitrarily touch the female soldier's body?" Hearing that, Van Tiu immediately kicked the man's head straight into the ground. "Get down." Guard Truck has just joined the Dragon Taming Academy. The baby dragon has not yet taken shape, which is bothering Mr. La. La Hu landed on the ground, not forgetting to praise that man. He has not yet become a dragon priest and has stepped onto this dense wilderness. Brother Truck really has courage. The man rubbed his face in pain after Van Tiu's kick, thinking, "This person along the way thought of every way to probe and annoy me. Well, luckily I can endure it." Below is the Long Than Gang's group. Legend has it that the Long Than Gang was transformed from the body of the first dragon ancestor. I saw it today. It's truly a legendary story. At Legia Royal Court, first of all, Master, don't be angry. You're okay. It's good to be back. The old man got angry and threw the teacup. A piece of broken glass grazed Van Tiu's face, leaving a bleeding wound. Le An, head of Legia, Kong Dong, head of the family. Le An, also Van Tiu's father, angrily shouted, "I can't even protect my reputation. How can I protect this Long Than Gang in all directions in the future?" La Hu was nervous and sweating. Lord, your subordinates have clearly burned all of Vinthan. How can this matter be transmitted to the Long Than gang? Lei An's eyes were sharp and he coldly shouted, "Shut up! It's your turn to say what?" La Hu immediately trembled in fear. His face covered in sweat and he quickly knelt down. Kong Dong gave a calculating smile. She immediately said, "No matter what, Ven Tiu has done a lot of credit for our Than Bang. Even though her reputation is now in scandal, her commanding majesty still remains." Old Man Le An immediately replied, "It doesn't have any majesty or command." All the generals and soldiers acting as its female soldiers will also have to suffer this humiliation along with it. The famous female soldier will disappear from here. Your guards will disperse to other military camps to continue guarding the western battlefield. The successor of Long Lin Ko's ancestor will be assumed by your younger sister Nam Lin Sa. You will be detained in the palace, not allowed to meet anyone. Old Man Lane coldly gave the order. As if remembering something, he called his name La Hu. "The crime is here," La Hu replied. "Your dragon is the fire dragon Liu Kim?" "Yes, Lord." "Unexpectedly, when you left Leja, you would have a strange encounter. This time you did very well, letting the people wandering in that dense land know that Lejia's people absolutely cannot be trampled on at will. Come back under my command. The fire dragon Liu Jin is truly a precious dragon with infinite potential, but also needs great resources and guidance from a famous master. As long as you are loyal, the future will be bright, very bright." Hearing that, La Hu was extremely happy and raised his head. Then he knelt down, bowed his head, and said, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord." The man standing next to him pointed at himself and said, "Had me. What about me? Can't you see me?" La Hu turned around and glanced at Van Tu meaningfully. He came to Van Tu's side and confided, "Miss Van, you don't need to pay attention to other people's attitudes. I will try my best to become a solid pillar of Leja and will think of every way to honor my promise. Kiss your subordinates and Miss Van, Ta La Hu. I truly care for Miss Van. Miss Van Tu doesn't need to answer me right away. I just need to know La Hu's loyalty and love." The man was angry, doubting life and wondering, "Am I really that transparent and invisible?" La Hu left, leaving behind a promise, "I will prove it to you." The man was finally able to speak up, giving Van Tu a handkerchief. "He's still bleeding. Wipe it off a bit." Van Tu said nothing. Passing by the man, tears of humiliation were rolling down his cheeks. Vinbin MCC in Lejia's living room. The man was lying with his head in his hand thinking, "Sigh, even though she's not angry at me, she probably doesn't want to see me anymore. I can't help but be ashamed. I can't sit still in Leja. I should still find a temporary job. It's best to still be able to grow mulberry trees. Otherwise, Bak Kai will wake up and have nothing to eat, which will cause chaos." Speaking of Bak Kai, it hasn't come out for many days to breathe there. Is it preparing to hibernate in its spiritual domain? Must go inside and see. Spiritual domain. Spiritual domain is the strange space of dragon masters, used to store the dragons that they tame. Strange. Why are there so many ice pupae? This is signs of dragon transformation. Bak Hui is about to return to the dragon throne. That's great. It looks like we'll soon be able to fly freely in the air like before. Haze, it's a pity that I'm not a real dragon master. Otherwise, I absolutely would not let you become like you are now. Rest assured, Bak Hui, I will definitely find out the mystery of your degeneration, then help you grow up. I will bring you back to the top. I will become a true dragon hunter. Moreover, I also don't want to be her lifelong shame. We have to find a safe place for Bak Hui to go through the pupation stage. I'm not very familiar with Long Than Bang. Suddenly, a voice echoed inside. "Sir, are you awake?" The man quickly stood up and frantically opened the door. "Come here." The door is open. As a little maid, I am Swang Ni, the female soldier's maid. The female soldier ordered me to give you a letter of recommendation for admission to the Dragon Taming Academy. Thank you, Miss Swang Ni. Taking the letter, the man thought thoughtfully. She wanted to change this dragon priest's identity from fake to real, in case La Hu investigated in the future. On the contrary, Dragon Training Academy is a good place. Okay, if you go to school, then go to school. The next morning, at Li Zion Dragon Training Academy. Is this Li Zion Dragon Training Academy? Indeed, the atmosphere is extraordinary. Suddenly someone came and asked, little brother also came to admire the academy. I came to enroll, the man replied. The person asking is Fuang Nim Nim, the girl selling peaches. Looks like a cheerful person. Can't see it. Nim Nim hugged her stomach and laughed with tears in her eyes. Ha ha ha. Unexpectedly, little brother looks stupid and hasn't woken up yet. The man's face darkened with anger. I have nowhere to wake up. Why are you so cruel, little girl? Looking at you dress simply and normally, not carrying a child spirit, and still looking so stupid. When did the admission standards for the Dragon Taming Academy become so low? The man's name is also not suitable. Do you dare to bet with me? Now I go in there, the person at the wooden door won't stop me. If I can get in, you give me this basket of peaches. The girl accepted the bet. Okay, so what if I win? I will buy all of your peaches, the man replied confidently. Bull, I don't believe you'll be able to buy all my peaches. Scene change, Truck Lang stands under the academy gate giving a letter of introduction to an old man. I came to enroll. This is my letter. The old man looked at the letter of introduction and said, go to the front to get the badge, then stand next to it and wait a bit. After hearing this, Truck Lang immediately turned back and happily said loudly, Hey, look, I passed. I won. On this side, Nim Nim didn't care and still diligently introduced the goods to the other aunt. Auntie, I really can't take it anymore. Look at my peaches. Every fruit is fresh and succulent. Truck Lang blushed angrily and thought, damn, this is even more bitter than losing. Waiting a while later, a water dragon swam to wait at the gate. The old man crossed his arms and stood in front of the dragon and said, Everyone is gathered. Let's go. At this time, everyone was sitting on the water dragon's back. In front of Truck Lang are Nam Deep and Li Thudin. Suddenly there was a voice from somewhere shouting loudly, Li Thudin, you are the hope of everyone in the village. No matter what, you must become a dragon priest. The person on the shore continued, If it doesn't work, it's okay. Return to the village as soon as possible. The cows and goats in the house must always have someone grazing them in the pasture. If they don't get fat, they won't have milk. Without milk, the young cows and goats won't be able to stand it. After hearing this, everyone around burst into laughter. Li Thudin covered his face in embarrassment. Remember to share the bag of smoked venison with fellow students next to you who are not familiar with the place. You must know how to build good relationships with fellow students and teachers so you won't be easily bullied. Li Thudin blushed and quickly waved his hand. I know. Hother, please come back quickly, please. At this point, Li Thudin turned back. Did you guys just enroll? I'm Li Thudin. What's your name? My name is Truck Min Lang. Li Thudin turned to the front and asked the person in front of him, What is your fellow student's name? The other person did not respond, just remained silent. The old man turned to the three of them and said loudly, You three seem to be late to school. Even if it's a long way, you should leave early. Now when I go to the Dragon Palace, I can only choose to sit on the baby spirits of a few other people. The dragon began to move across the water, bringing them into the academy. After a while of traveling by dragon, they arrived at the Dragon Palace. Inside the Dragon Palace, there was an old man waiting for them with a board tone, choose after choosing. Come to my place to register. After making the seal, the baby spirit will belong to you. After saying that, the old man yawned loudly. In here are young spirits, all different types of young spirits, which are bat-winged birds, buffalo horned sheep. Wow, with so many young spirits, Which one is the best one to choose? Well, you guys are quite serious in choosing the opposite, but 1,000 young spirits here might not necessarily be real dragons. Letting you come here to choose is just to give you some hope of becoming a dragon tamer. It's okay to arbitrarily choose one, don't hesitate anymore. If you have time to pick up some trash here, it's best to spend some effort to nurture your little souls well. While Namdeep was still grumbling non-stop, Min Lang suddenly turned his head and discovered something. A pack of wolves are fighting over a piece of meat and a small silkworm. Oh, a silkworm. At this time, a crocodile ran up and bit the small silkworm. Then the wolf hit him. Is there bullying even here? Truck Lang walked over and picked up the crocodile. Tiwanggaklin, from now on live with brother. After saying that, the crocodile brought the bird up and immediately sprayed him with a scornful urine. After urinating, the crocodile hugged his stomach and laughed. No wonder you were bullied by other child spirits. You brat are truly despicable. Thinking of the old man at the stall saying, in recent months there have been rumors that baby dragons like to eat silkworms. If a baby spirit that eats silkworms appears, you must catch it. The chance of turning into a dragon will be very high. Moreover, on the head of this little crocodile, there is a hard horn protruding, seemingly a dragon's horn seal. Leave it. I can't help but deal with you. With a seductive look on his face, Truck Lang held the silkworm up in front of him and said, I am the one who specializes in raising silkworms. Whether I can make you eager for dragons or not will not be said for now, but I guarantee you will have enough to eat silkworm meat. Haha, what? Give you another chance. Do you want to live with your brother? Seeing the silkworm, the crocodile showed its greedy face and nodded in agreement. After that, Truck Lang immediately signed a soul-binding contract with the little crocodile spirit. Okay, from now on, let's call you Little Black Fang. Changing the scene to the dormitory, Truck Lang has just finished digging a lake for Tiu Hak. So, the new lake I dug for you is not bad, right? Tiu Hak jumped into the lake. The water splashed. His face looked excited. You play it yourself. Let's go take a shower first. He finally relaxed. His face extremely refreshed. Phew, it's gone too far. Tomorrow. Truck Lang was still sleeping, blowing bubbles with his nose. Tiu Hak jumped straight into his face, waking him up. Ouch. Good morning, Tiu Hak. You like practicing so much. I'll reward you with this silkworm. Today I'll take you to a good place to practice. Truck Lang took Tiu Hak out and heard gossip about Ventiu. You've never met her. She's as beautiful as a fairy. You're really a dog thief. Why do you treat her like that? So, I heard he was an old beggar. Why do I hear that he is a young wanderer? What do you all understand? Like that chaotic and disorderly place in the dark land, that fear-like appearance of her, surely everyone wants to taste it. Stop talking, she's my star. Don't say such unpleasant words. He thought to himself, sigh, the more it spreads, the further away it gets from reality. After walking for a while, inside the forest is a waterfall. Sigh, the grouper is so delicious. You're a crocodile, but you don't like to eat it. Tiu Hak seriously practiced. Swimming in the water. Not bad skills. Truck Lang was startled when he discovered Tiu Hak swimming about to go down the waterfall. Yeah. It's true that compliments cannot be given easily. Come back here soon. He clenched his teeth and impatiently ran after Tiu Hak. Wading into the water, luckily he caught Tiu Hak's tail. He quickly threw it onto the shore and reminded him, don't be careless next time. Then quickly grabbed a tree branch. Tiu Hak was thrown onto the shore and worriedly turned his head to look at Truck Lang and cried out. Suddenly, the tree branch that Truck Lang was holding onto broke. He panicked. Not good. Thank you for supporting me. If you find it interesting, please give me one like and one registration. Thank you.